Good evening, Baltimore. This is Harry Gray, Coach says, this is changing Baltimore. Welcome Baltimore. This is another episode of Changing Baltimore. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
And your co-host, Coach Sam.
And we're brought to you by Brainstream Media.
Brainstream.
Tone Drone LLC.
Tone Drone.
And Mo's Famous Seafood.
Ooh.
All right, glad to be back, man. Another episode. We've been off for a week, man. Glad for everybody tuning in. Everybody's here at Mo's having a good time. Know it's a little chilly outside today, but
it's freezing.
But we're gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna get this show started off, rocking and rolling on a big topic that was has hit Baltimore 2 weeks ago. The Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Now, some of the football fans, they wanted to blame this loss on Lamar. You know, but you know, we in Baltimore we have a lot of fans that are not Ravens fans, so they was glad that from what the media and I want to say the casual fans were saying that Lamar had a bad game. So, give me your perspective first on the game, and let's talk about Lamar first, and then I'm gonna give my perspective.
Well, don't forget about the banana pudding, right?
Yeah, can't forget about the banana pudding. Should have tried mine.
Yeah, that was sad. But I just think collectively it's a team game. I think they kind of went away from the game plan a little bit. The 2 fourth down stops, and then I think it was 14-6 at one time, and I thought they should have went on and kicked the field goal instead of trying to go for it. And they try to use what they call a rub technique to kind of get Lamar Jackson kind of rub down the line of scrimmage to find a alley, but they got great penetration to where as though that technique didn't work. But then they threw the ball, I think it was 59 times, and that's just not really what he do. It was tough, man, but I really couldn't blame him. They've been using the offensive line the whole season, and we just didn't use them then. I think they panicked and thought that they had to kind of score instead of kind of matriculating the ball downfield. They wanted to get the big shots, and it just wasn't happening for them.
Yeah, I think my perspective on the game is kind of like yours said, that they did get away from the game plan. But for the non-football, I say fans or non-football people that know the game, how can you blame a guy that had over 500 total yards? And I think they failed to realize that you had 365 passing and 143 rushing with 20 carries. So normally when somebody has 500 total yards, any offensive team that has 500 total yards, usually they win the ball game. And to only score 12 points, I really don't put that on the quarterback. I was looking at something today that was on Facebook where they actually had all the drops. We had 7 drops in the game. So Lamar went 31 of 59 with 7 drops. One of those drops, one drop was right there near the goal line where Hurst just didn't turn around. The ball hit him right in the chest. He didn't turn his head around. That was a touchdown. Seth Roberts Dropped a third and I believe it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, which if he catches the ball, that's a touchdown, or at least gets deep into the Titans' territory. Boyle dropped the 3rd and 7. A ball that normally Andrews catches in that first quarter, first possession, he doesn't elevate enough. It goes right off his fingertips, interception. I think out of all the passes that Lamar had, he might have had one that second interception was a bad pass.
Right.
So we are fair weather fans here in Baltimore. You know, you're doing good, everybody loves you. When you come up short, they can be your worst enemy. And this is a guy that has led us to a season 14-2, division title, 12 straight victories, and all of a sudden everybody wants to blame the game on him. This young man is only 22 years old, but said he's only played in 22 total regular season games. And some of your great quarterbacks in the NFL, your Aaron Rodgers, your Drew Brees, your Phillip Rivers, those guys did not win a playoff game, I think their 3rd, 4th, 5th year in the NFL.
Yeah.
So you're talking, hey, we're going to put the fate of our offense of our team in a 22-year-old's hands. And you're supposed to guide us to a Super Bowl. This guy, you know, he's going to be great. I'm just hoping that as an offensive staff, they will create a little more diversity in their offense to make him stand out a little more.
Well, you said diversity. I just think that what they were doing was working. And the thing that was working, they just didn't do it in that particular game. I just think that they kind of panicked a little bit and didn't do what got them there. And also, you playing a team that, they had a great back, a nasty offensive line, and they kind of controlled the time of possession. So every possession that the Ravens had, it was crucial. It was pivotal for them to put some points on the board, because man, they was toting the rock, man, and they kept the TOP, and it was hard getting it back. And the defense, I mean, struggled a little bit, but it wasn't bad enough, But I just think we just didn't do what got us there,
Baltimore, I just want you guys to really embrace this young man. When we talk about the crime, we talk about things going on in Baltimore, I can care less about the score of the game. I would love for the Ravens to win, loved for the Ravens to be in the Super Bowl. But when we sit back and look at Baltimore, we talk about the politicians, we talk about the mayor's race. I think this is the only guy that can come in any neighborhood in Baltimore and sit and talk to the people and honestly make a change. We don't want to run somebody like that away. We also have a couple of people coming on here tonight that have made impacts in the city, or they are around people that can make impacts in the city. We have a lot of potential people in Baltimore that can do a lot of potential things.
Absolutely.
But we only have a few that's out there doing the groundwork. Lamar Jackson can be one of them. Tank Davis can be another one. But we can't always depend on the stars. We got to get out there themselves, but don't run the people away that can make a positive influence with our kids in our neighborhood. So, Baltimore, we'll be right back after this break.
Yo, pass that lighter.
Welcome back, Baltimore. This segment is brought to you by Mo's Famous Seafood, Tone Drone LLC,
Tone Drone,
and Brainstream Media.
TJ.
Have any questions for the panel and our guests for tonight? Please give us a call at 410-417-7067. Our first guest tonight, man, you probably seen them on Showtime. You probably seen him on ESPN.
Yes, sir.
Kind of behind the scenes guy, but he's also in front. Here's the trainer of your champion of Baltimore City, Rashard Blinkley. How you doing?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
He said he's a little nervous, so we definitely got him tonight.
I'm not nervous.
So glad to have you, man. One of the first questions, man, that I definitely want to ask you, has the success of Tank kind of changed him as a person?
No, it has not changed him at all. He's the same guy that I've been working with for the last 9 years. So he's the same guy. He's never going to change. He's going to be the same guy he's always been.
So the keeper folks, there's a lot of success going on with him now. I know, with the Mayweather camp and everything, man. Mm-hmm. Has it been hard to keep him focused?
At moments, he has a little letdown, but for the most part, he's always focused. Yeah, he's always focused.
So what's that little added thing that you guys do in the camp to say, hey, man, you need to go in and focus back up?
Well, I can't use some of the words I say, but he's always, we just got little things we use to make him get motivated. It could be little thing as we make a little side bet, like, I bet you can't do this, just to motivate him, because sometimes it gets a little stale doing the same thing over and over for years and years. So we just add a little things, little twists here and there. That's all.
Now, look, his last fight, and a lot of people that was watching the fight probably would say, he wasn't his best. Was that one, due to training, or two, just he knows as of right now he can turn it on whenever he wants?
Well, no, not due to training, but he knew he could turn on at any point. But he wanted to get the rounds in, so he knew he could knock the guy out early, but he needed to get the rounds because all the other fights he was getting the guys out of there first round, second round. So he took it upon himself to carry the guy 12 rounds. As you see, he knocked him out, 4 times?
Right.
And then he knocked him out in the 12th round. So it wasn't the point that he was training. He could have done better, yes, but he just wanted to get to work.
And it's funny, me and Sad we was talking about Lamar Jackson, how it's very hard to please the people in Baltimore. Every time Tank fights, they think, oh, knock him out in the first round. But if he knocks him out in the first round, then everybody's saying, well, what type of opponent did he have? Mm-hmm. So when he kind of, goes the distance or it goes beyond 4 or 5 rounds, they thinking, oh, man, Tank is off tonight. But like you said, it could be just getting the work in. A little strategy, but tell the people that, he's on his game.
He absolutely on his game. A lot of people don't understand that you just can't go in there all the time knocking somebody out because that person has the right to win. They train 8 to 10 weeks, and they have a chance to knock you out. So what happens is they go in there and you want to get to work because you never know when you're going to get that opponent that's going to make you work. And if you're always getting the guy out there first, second round, then how are you going to be ready for a guy that's going to take you into the deep waters?
Right, exactly.
Well, I've known Tank since he was young when he made an attempt to play for the Sandtown Wolverines back in the day. I think it was 8-10. And then a lot of people don't know that Rushy is my first cousin. So I saw Rushy at my grandmother's funeral, right? And Rush was telling me then that he was training Tank and Tank was upcoming, So I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be pretty big, but everybody knows about Tank and Tank is doing good things. But I want to know, Rushy, what other things are you doing besides training Tank, and what your training ventures and where they lie?
Well, I also trained a couple of football players. One was with the LA Chargers, and one now is playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I do more than just train boxers. I do also do basketball. So I do a little bit of everything.
And what about my cousin, your son? And tell us a little bit about your son.
Oh, my son, he's in a prep school up in Connecticut, heading to Dayton University. Leading scorer in the prep school right now with 30 points a game. So he's doing this thing.
Mm-hmm. It's big, man.
So with the success of Tank, and you guys fight out of the Upton Boxing Gym.
Correct.
How has the crowd been, or how has the registration to learn how to box, how has that been in the last, I want to say, 6 months to 8 months?
But let me say this, every time Tank fights, we get an influx of about 30 kids. So we have about 200 kids that come through there daily. So it's definitely an influx every time he fights because everybody wants to come in and be a boxer.
Right.
Yeah.
So we always talk on our show about how we can change Baltimore. It goes with our title, Changing Baltimore. With these kids coming into the gym, I think you guys are front line more so than boxing. You guys can teach these guys and talk to these guys about how they need to carry themselves, in the neighborhood, in the streets around Baltimore. Tell me, do y'all have those type of talks and interactions with those young men?
Absolutely. We try to save one life at a time. We always talk to these kids about, you might not be a professional boxer, but you can go on to be a professional, and anything you put your mind to, you just got to find, what's your niche is and or your dream or whatever your gift is, and just go for it. A lot of these kids just don't have the right guidance. Maybe they dad just not there, or their dad may be there, or their parents might not be into sports, and they missing that connection. So a lot of these kids go out and the communities don't have the recreation centers like they used to.
Right.
So we fall short of having these kids having somewhere to go with their time. So they have a lot of time on their hands, they gonna get and nothing to do, so they're gonna end up doing something they don't have no business doing.
Mm-hmm. So have you seen the change in the neighborhood with the guys now starting to come into the gym, as far as the violence and the crime in the neighborhood? Has it kind of died down just a little bit?
In that section, I could say where the gym and the crime is down a little, but we have the crime. Crime is just crime. Crime is always going to be there because a lot of times these kids, like I said before, moms may not ask for the help with their young sons at an early enough age to help mentor these kids, and then what happens is these kids grow up and not knowing how to actually be a man. So they growing up and they learn on the street, and sometimes they not learn the right way, so they learn the wrong way.
Exactly.
So and we have these problems. If you look at it, like I always tell people, we don't have out of town shooters.
Exactly.
So we have, it's the communities.
That's it. I just think, Tank, yourself, Lamar, everybody needs to grab these kids and say, hey, look, this is what we need to do. We still need more frontline guys. They gravitate to the rappers. They gravitate to the people that they see on TV every single day. I know I have some kids in my class, and they may not know these rappers, but they go right to YouTube and they say, Coach, look at this. This is so-and-so from so-and-so area in Baltimore City. And every 3 words is a curse word. And I'm like, hey, you can't listen to that. It's like, man, but this is my joint. This is my jam right here, But
Right.
I could say the same thing. Coach said can say the same thing to these kids about how we need to make a change. They don't listen. But you come in, Tank comes in, that rapper that they envision that they can be comes in and says, hey, look, do this. And they do it. Now, I'm going to ask you that hard question. Do you think that that's because we don't have dads in these young men's lives?
Absolutely. When the dad is missing from the home, and the young man growing up, he's learning, or he's trying to learn how to identify himself as a man. So if he doesn't know how to properly identify himself as a man, what happens is he go out and he sees these other young men, or they call themselves men, and they try to emulate that, and they fall short, because if he see that guy with his pants hanging down, or he sees this guy carrying a gun, or he sees this guy doing this, what you think he's going to do? He's going to do exactly what he's been seeing. So that's one of the biggest problems. That's why I say we have to have these mentors. We have to get these kids and reach them early enough so that they won't follow that wrong guidance in the street.
So tell us, before we close this segment out, tell us, how can kids, whether it's male or female, do you guys take females?
Yes.
How can they get in contact with Upton Boxing, get registered, start taking classes, just to learn boxing? Maybe not to be a professional, but just to learn.
1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, between the hours of 5 to 7. They can just come down there and register. Not hard.
That's it. Is it a fee?
Yes, the fee is $120 for the whole year.
Okay.
For the whole year.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. So this is something, we talk about avenues, we talk about what can we do to get kids off the street. This is something else. This is another avenue. These are the things that we're trying to bring here to Change in Baltimore, is to give you something that you can do for yourself as a youngster, or as a parent, to get your kids involved, so we won't have to worry about all the gun violence and things that that's going on here in Baltimore. Lastly, give us a Tank's training day. What's a training day for Tank?
He wakes up around 10, in the gym at 12 to about 3, back at the gym around 7 to about 9. And then I say about 2 or 3 in the morning he's running. So he runs about 5 miles. That's Tank day.
I couldn't be a boxer. Say
That's tough.
I'm done. I'm done after the
2 days and then a run. So is it an advantages of running at that time during the morning?
Yeah, well, a lot of you got to remember, you fight at night, so your body has to learn to be up at night. So you don't want to have your body dormant during the time you'll be fighting, because then your body be sleepy. So a lot of these guys are night owls. They up late because they know they fight late. Most of his fights come on 11:30 at night.
Right.
So he likes to run at night.
Right.
Because I worked the weekends, so last fight I was like, hurry up, knock him out so I won't be late for work. I was late for work. All right. So again, man, thank you, Rashad, for coming on, man. Change in Baltimore. We love to have you, Tank, and the whole staff come on again, man. When is his next fight?
It's in April. I don't have the date yet, but it will be in April in LA. Pay-per-view. It's going to be pay-per-view too.
Against who?
Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo Santa Cruz. That should be a good one. So again, man, thank you for coming out. This is Changing Baltimore. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Baltimore. Another segment of Changing Baltimore. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
And your co-host, Coach Said.
Brought to you by Brainstream Media.
TJ.
Tone Drone LLC.
Tone Drone.
And Mo's Famous Seafood. Have any questions, comments, concerns, please give us a call, 410-417-7067. just give us a call. We're waiting for you. It could be about Lamar. It could be about Tank. It could be about anything. The issues in Baltimore. Give us a call. Second segment, we want to bring here to the microphone, man, a gentleman that has done a lot in the community the last few years. Former NFL ball player. Was on the practice squad in 2009 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Signed by the Saints 2010. He was with the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans. Graduate of Carver High School here in Baltimore City.
Bears.
Shippensburg University, man. I'd like to introduce Mr. Joel Gamble.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, thank you for coming, man. You're doing a lot of big things lately here in Baltimore. One of the big things, man, that you've been doing is your foundation. Let's talk about the Joel Gamble Foundation. How did you come about getting the foundation started?
Well, once I was done with the NFL, I felt the need and absolutely to come back to Baltimore and make myself accessible to the youth in Baltimore. I found that I didn't have anybody, any celebrities, any NFL players, no NBA players came in my hood in West Baltimore and reached out to me. And so I felt that it was imperative for me to actually come back and make myself accessible so people could have hope and see somebody that is successful, that came from the area that they've come from, and is coming back and giving back. So in 2013, I decided to boots to the ground, get my foundation started. I was doing work in the community before then, but officially we started the Joel Gamble Foundation in 2013, and we've been running ever since with community programs such as mentorship, college tours, football leagues, health and wellness programs, all types of things, just wraparound services to provide resources for youth in Baltimore.
So has it been really productive far as the kids, maybe even coaches, because I know you deal with a lot of the student athletes, have they been receptive to what you're trying to do for your community?
Oh, absolutely. The kids all the time. I see them in the community, and they like, hey, when are we going to have that league start up again? And we just got done, And so I'm like, man, these kids are looking for outlets. And so we got to be there to provide them. If we're not, then the streets are going to provide it for them. So I try to do as much as I can and collaborate with other people, with coaches, with other NFL players and other organizations. I feel it's best that we all come together and collaborate, because I know that my talents go but so far, and each of us have a gift and a talent, and I feel as though if we came together, then we could do a lot more.
I know Christmas time, you guys gave, we were at Target.
Right.
And, some kids had I believe it was $200 shopping spree.
Each kid, for 40 kids, we gave a $200 shopping spree for Baltimore County and Baltimore City youth. And so Mervo was one of the schools. We had Carver High School. We had Milford Mill, Patapsco High School, and a few mentoring programs as well. And so we were blessed. My partner, Brandon Copeland, I watched him come up when I was in the league, and he was in high school. Actually, he was at University of Penn at the time, and he was training with me with trainer Troy Jones. And so, we built a relationship over the years, and he's, been a great advocate for the community as well. And so he reached out and said, hey, man, we want to do something for the kids in Baltimore as well as across the country. And so Brandon put it together, and we did it across the country. We reached more than 300 kids, and so in Baltimore we had 40 kids that were able to be blessed with shopping spree for Christmas. Yep.
Well, speaking of Mr. Copeland, I've been working camps for about 20 years, and I was so impressed with his camp at Gilman. I was thoroughly impressed, man. That was one of the best camps I ever seen. And shout out to him, man. And then,
Absolutely.
I know you gave the free camp a couple years ago, and my son attended, and he loved it, man. And you guys took some snapshots of him, and I showed it to him, and man, he was so excited. But you do a lot of work, but you're so humble.
Oh yeah.
That
That's where I come from, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm West Baltimore raised,
Yeah.
and that's me.
I was told about you through the late great Keon Carpenter.
Right.
And Carp was telling me about you, and then I met you one day at Troy's. You was working out, and we had some kids from Shutdown, I think, working out up there.
Right.
So, I mean, it was inevitable that you was going to do what you do, man, because I kind of seen it in you and your fire. I mean, you might be humble and quiet, but your fire is just all over the place, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what a lot of people don't understand about the difference between a professional athlete and just a regular athlete, man. You got to be a different type of hungry if you're trying to make it to the NFL.
Yep.
And then that a lot of times that translate into life. Like
Yep.
whatever you're trying to do, that same hunger, you use that and that same fire and that passion, you use that to propel you to be successful in whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Joe, with the things that's been going on in Baltimore City with our youth, and it seems like it's just getting worse every day. What do you think some of the answers are, or what do you think some of the problems are with our youth today?
I think the biggest problem is the lack of resources that our youth are getting. That's one problem right there. So let's start in the school system. We could start in the school system with kids not having proper heating, proper air condition, proper drinking water in the schools. The buildings aren't up to par. The books, the curriculum, everything. So we need a change with that. We also need a change with having kids participate in programs, and then also fathers in the household. We're losing a lot of fathers in the household due to the streets and various reasons, and so moms are doing the best that they can, but we really need fathers in the household and men, mentors, that's out here grabbing these boys off the streets and teaching them how to be men, and not enabling them for their behaviors, but actually holding them accountable as to how to be a man.
So what can we do to change? I mean, I know your foundation. There's a couple other foundations out here. What can we do to change it? Because I know we have a lot of people walking, marching. I know. Give a shout out to Derek Chase. I think he had 100-man walk. I want to say last week, but will the answers be going into the schools, talking to the kids, maybe giving free haircuts, maybe someone that the public does not even know as a politician actually running for office? I think sometimes we get to a point where we're so far away from where we come from, we don't know how to get back there. What's your perspective on that?
That's big right there, and that's why I said that I wanted to make myself accessible. A lot of us, middle class flight from out of the city is one of the main reasons why the city is how it is today, and so a lot of times everybody's pointing the finger and placing blame on the problems in Baltimore, but they aren't actually in the trenches and doing what they can do. And so each of us can make a difference. You don't have to have a foundation. You don't have to be an NFL player or anything. If you grab one kid off the streets and you mentoring him, and you're taking care of him, and just making sure that they're raised and that they're getting the right proper resources, then we all can make a difference.
Yep.
So anyone that wants to get involved with your foundation, how can they get involved with your foundation?
Oh, we got plenty of volunteer opportunities. So in the summertime, we have our free football camp. That'll be around June or July. You can reach out to the Joel Gamble Foundation, www.thejoelgamblefoundation.org. We have our flag football league coming up in the spring. That'll be April and May. We'll have coaching opportunities available for that as well. And so, if you want to get involved, and we're definitely in the trenches. Our flag league is in West Baltimore at Easterwood Recreation Center. That's right across the street from Carver High School, right in the middle of of what's going on.
Absolutely.
So, we want to make sure that we're where these kids are and we're reaching them where they are.
So, you have any upcoming events? Anything coming up shortly?
Just the Flag Football League coming up in April. Myself and Tavon Mason, another former NFL player, we actually do a literacy program as well together. So we both have children's books. We're both authors. And so we go into elementary schools and actually read to the kids. And so we'll have another event for our reading and literacy program coming up next month.
That's big.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on, man. Change in Baltimore. Continue to make a change in Baltimore. We love you guys, what you're doing, man. We need it. God bless you. And thank you, man, for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks, bro.
We'll be right back with another segment of Change in Baltimore.
Population is growing in size and wealth, making it harder to achieve green growth. The Financial Times. Visit ft.com/new agenda.
Corey Johnson, Coach Lawrence Smith, players, your parents to get maximum exposure.
When it comes to any of my video footage, you only go to one person.
Brainstream Media.
Shout out to Brainstream Media. Shout out to Brainstream Media for doing my film.
Brainstream Media.
Shout out to Brainstream Media.
My name is Justin Leach. We're going to Frostburg State University for football. Team Brainstream.
Shout out to Brainstream Media. Best film in the state.
DeWitt Doss, Emerson Westside High School, Athletic Director with Team Brainstream.
Hey, this is Head Coach Julio, Head Coach at Forest Park High School. We Team Brainstream, man. Thanks a lot, Brainstream.
Shout out to Brainstream Media for giving kids the opportunity to get themselves exposed to college.
Hey, Brainstream Media, man. The best videographer in the area, man. You want sharp, HD quality, good quality, holler at Brainstream Media, baby. They the best. Baltimore City football.
Welcome back, Baltimore. It's Changing Baltimore. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
Your co-host, Coach Sayer.
Brought to you by Brainstream Media, Tone Drone LLC,
Tone Drone,
and Mo's Famous Seafood. Please give us a call, 410-417-7067. We had one caller, Mr. Aaron Jordan. You can call back, Mr. Jordan.
Call back. It's about to be a thick
but
subject.
yeah, this one right here, man, this is kind of going back where we first started in June. The subject is coming back up because the weather's starting to change, beginning of the year. We're going to talk a little bit about youth football, specifically spring football, and are we pretty much doing an overkill with all the youth football, not giving the kids a break? So I believe it's another All-Star game, the 4-10 All-Star game that takes place, I believe, is this Saturday. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these kids will start spring football up in about a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at March, they're playing games in April. They are sitting back training, doing summer camp in June, July. The season starts in late August, and it doesn't end until December. So it's almost like they're going 12 months. So before I kind of get my perspective set, I'm going to let you lead into it and kind of answer the question, how do you feel? Is it overkill for our youth?
I think it's overkill. I think that, we're not giving the bodies chance to really recover, man. We going into the season, which is the fall season, not really getting a break because most of the kids are playing in some type of extracurricular all-star game that they got to pay for. And then, they going right from that into spring ball. So, they still hitting. You still banging. But then you're talking about the concussion protocol. So it's like being an oxymoron. You talk about hitting, but then at the other at another token, then you're saying, well, what about the concussion protocol? So we need to give the body and the mind chance to really to recover. And at this particular time, the kids should be working on getting bigger and stronger and faster, getting better at their perspective positions, and not too much hitting, man. But see, when I say spring football is a joke, I get a lot of, well, you hating, and I'm not trying to take money out of nobody's pocket, man. I'm just saying, get the kids a chance. I know everybody trying to be a millionaire off of lower league football, but I'm just saying, give these kids a chance to recover and get their body and their minds right before they get back out there for the fall season. Because, most people, for the fall season, they kind of get started in like May, maybe, or June, and then that's camp season. So get the body and the mind just a chance to recover, man. That's all I'm saying.
There's other sports, and I don't think we giving our kids an opportunity to play other sports. And it's been said many times, it's been documented that some of your best football players have played other sports. Baseball is one of them. Baseball is coming up. I know in high school, March 1st is the first official practice in high school. But there are some kids that have been going to batting cages since probably December to get ready for the season. Some of your quarterbacks, let them go out there and play baseball, see how they pitch. See how they catch. See if they can play shortstop or third base. Trust and believe me, playing that middle infield, second base, shortstop, even catcher, center field, it's going to show their athletic ability. If they have to pitch, some of those same mechanics you use when you're throwing the football, you can kind of use throwing that baseball.
A la Mahomes.
Yes. So, just being a former baseball player, playing shortstop, going in that hole, you gotta take that crow hop. You gotta get your feet underneath you to make that long throw. Same thing as a quarterback trying to make that throw outside the numbers, throwing that deep out, or throwing that corner route. Baseball is one. You want to build up speed, let them run track. There's a lot of track people out here that's willing to teach, how to run the proper form. So we don't always have to be, on a football field to teach football. If we're going to do that, I don't think we should be tackling, do more camps, do more clinics, do more combines. I think we have enough knowledgeable coaches, whether it's high school or whether it's youth ball, out here to put something together to do enough clinics and camps to prepare our kids for the next level. One of the things that I see lacking in Baltimore, that's including high school, public school wise, is front line play. And we don't have a lot of line coaches out here in Baltimore trying to teach the kids.
Speaking of line play, I got that clinic I'm doing for the Big Uglies to be March the 7th at George McMecken High School from 10 to 2:30. So I'll be doing hosting a line clinic with some offensive line guys, and Calvin Montgomery, Coach Kennard Brown, and a couple other guys that's going to really teach some of these guys how we do in the trenches.
Yeah, and I think it's needed. Just looking at some of the past champions of state champions in high school football, it's been line play. And if you don't have the line play, trust and believe me, you're going to probably come up short. We talked earlier. We started the show off today about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. One of the first things that said was line play. We got bullied up front by the Titans. That was it. Yeah. So we could talk about, they got us out of our game. We lost the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively.
Absolutely.
So if you are a youth coach and you like, you know what, I'm really not that knowledgeable up front, you can go to coaches' clinics, but you have guys here in Baltimore that know line play.
Absolutely.
Pick up the phone, call them, hit them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and say, hey, can I come to you because I want to know some schemes or I want to know some techniques? But we got to get our kids out there. I'm just at a point where you have a kid that's going to high school in September 2020 playing spring football, and he's being taught a certain way to play a certain scheme, but he's away from his high school because next month they should know what high school they're going to. They should be meeting their coaches right now saying, hey, I'm coming to your high school, and this position I played, this is the rec or the organization I played for. When is weight training for you guys?
Right.
Because I want to get up, I want to get in there, I want to be prepared. Just getting on there, putting the helmet on in March and April may not help you. And I know some youth coaches may sit back and like, man, they don't know what they're talking about. Get them off the mic. But it's fact, because when some of these kids get to the high school in August, they got to be retaught again. And our kids don't retain information a lot. When you keep, it's almost overkill. I'm going to teach you this, and this in the spring, but then I'm going to get another group of coaches in August that's going to teach me this. So cover 3 on 11-13 may look totally different than cover 3 playing for Carver High School on the varsity.
But theory sometimes change, but the practical never change. Football is football. Some people might have different theoretical views on certain positions, but football is football, man. And getting back to the concussion protocol in spring football, they tried to pass legislation about 2 years ago and tried to ban Little League football from 13 down. They was going to ban that. I mean, and some people stuck together, then it didn't pass. But man, come on, it's like we constantly trying to hit these kids banging all year, and they trying to pass legislation not to even play Little League football from 13-year-old to. It's unbelievable, man.
It's really getting. They're boggling everything down. They're going to try to sit back and put us all in the bottle. Sometimes we have to sit back and be proactive instead of reactive. We have to do a lot better in order. Most of your kids are going to your cities, Polys, Mervos, the Dunbars, the Pattersons. And when your kids go to these high schools, you want to see them do well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to kind of get with those coaches and say, look, this is what's coming to you. What can I do to prepare him for you?
Right.
So if you're going to keep him until June, then get with those high school coaches and say, hey, look, I got him, but what do you want me to work on? Let me see some of your schemes, things like that.
Well, most of these Little League coaches, man, they trying to win. They want to win, and they want to win now. And the high school coach, when they come to recruit the kid, they don't ask the kid, what was your record? Like what's your record? Did you win the championship? They could care less about that. So when you get a kid that want to go to Mervo and he's trying to play guard, they looking at his footwork. They looking at a kid, if he's trying to play quarterback, they trying to look at his mechanics. You know what I'm saying? When you come to Patterson and you come to play offensive line for me, I'm looking at your feet. I'm looking at if you got great hips. I'm looking at your hands. How can you throw your hands? And I know Coach Larry going to look at fundamentals because he's a fundamental guy, but they want to win right now. Instead of teaching these kids how to play to get you to the next level, let's just win right now. And they beat their chest on winning Little League championships. They just do.
Got a call. Hold on. Go ahead, caller. This is Change in Baltimore. You're on the line.
Hey, what's up, Coach Bray? This is Payne Monzoni. How you doing, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. I just wanted to kind of chime in on the transition from rec football to high school football. What people need to understand, it is a completely different animal. Yes, fundamentals are fundamentals. However, the league play is different. The grind is different. Not just the play schemes are different, but how everything is orchestrated and how everything goes about as opposed to design set plays that are ran over and over again, as to football, high school football, design plays, they maneuver and they transition into a different level. There needs to be a transition between rec ball and high school football to get these kids mentally prepared to move to the next level. A lot of these kids are coming to rec football still with that giggling and playing mindset and not ready for the work that's ahead of them for high school football. I watched tryouts last year, and a lot of these kids waited until the last minute. Oh, I was a star on my rec team at Holy Dirt or NYFL, or I was a Raider or whatever, and they get here 2 weeks too late, and they mad because they sit on the sideline. Because in their mind, they were a star in rec and they're going to automatically be a star in high school. There needs to be a better transition between rec ball and high school football so that these kids know you can't wait until the last minute to get mentally prepared for the next level.
Yep.
It starts now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ms. Varney, for your call. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, though.
All right.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Can I answer?
Yeah, she said only a minute. So the thing that she was saying that it's a transition. Some high schools, you can walk in 2 weeks late. That you're a freshman. That JV may not start until school, but then you got the other schools that are big, like your Mervos, like your Dunbars, where they're saying, look, you better get here pretty much in late June. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not here in late June, it's maybe mid-July, you'd have missed out on a whole lot. I know this year, Coach Bobby, shout out to Coach Bobby, they had 120 plus kids trying out just for JV. So if you got there 2 weeks late, you were done. No matter how good you were done. Because they already had made cuts. So again, man, this is another great show of Changing Baltimore. Mm-hmm. You can actually hit us on Facebook in the inboxes if you have any comments or concerns. We will see you again in 2 weeks. We will definitely be better. We will try to get more guests on, man, but we love to hear from you guys across Baltimore City. We have to make Baltimore better. That's it. Closes out.
I agree, man. Baltimore, we working on it, man. We chipping at it, and it's getting better and better. But this was a great week. We had a lot of great people on today, and hopefully we can get more people and more influential people in the community on the show.
This is Change Baltimore. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
And your co-host, Coach Ed.
And we would like to close out another segment of Changing Baltimore. Brought to you by Brainstream Media, Tone Drone LLC, and Mo's Famous Seafood. Thank you so much, and have a good night.
Peace.